I and all of you who've heard him have been most impressed with what he's got to say, and I'm sure that when he tells his story today you'll be equally impressed.
Ladies and gentlemen, many of you probably know that I was flying Liberators in the last year of the war from Amendola in Italy, which is on the Adriatic coast, halfway up the boot near the town of Foggia. And we were 205 group. We shared our field with the American 2nd Bomb Group, who flew B-17s. And we flew B24Js, and we bombed the marshalling yards up through Germany and Austria and northern Italy, and also dropped supplies to Tito, the Partigiani. Also we bombed ports and shipping in areas on the Adriatic and generally in the Med area. This particular day, which was I think the 5th of April 1945, we had an operation, a daylight operation, to bomb Monfalcone, which is up there, you see, and there's our field at Foggia. That's Monfalcone, which is not far from Venice. And just south of Monfalcone there's an island which is called Grado, and we were warned that when we came off the target, we were to avoid that island and fly west to clear the island before coming south back to Foggia. We had one pilot with us who was always in trouble, an Australian pilot who was always in trouble for burning too much fuel. And we were supposed to only use 200 gallons an hour, and Smithy would probably use 250. He'd roar up to the target. He was always too early. So we'd have to do a dog leg and a few orbits around and stooge around waiting for the mainstream. So we took off, and my aircraft had special equipment on board, special photographic equipment, which I believe was stereo and colour. And we were supposed to go in last to get the photographs. So we bombed and we flew west and started south, and my tail gunner called me up and said there's an aircraft behind us with the flying through heavy flak. You can hardly see the aircraft. I said, oh, it can't be one of ours, and we're lost, we're the last aircraft. And then he said, no, it's a Liberator, and it looks like it's flying on either 2 or 3 engines. So we all got back and we were being debriefed. The briefing was almost over, and Smithy, this pilot, Aussie pilot, comes in dragging his parachute and shaking his fist, and he said, you bastards cut me out. He said, I got up there, he said, found I was a bit early, so he said, I took a dog leg to port and stooged around, and the mainstream came through and I couldn't get back in. So I decided to do a shortcut across the island. So we said, how did you survive all that flak? And he said, what flak was that? The next thing, the engineering officer rang up and said, who was flying V Victor today? And I said, Flying Officer Smith. They said, will you tell him his aircraft's a write-off? It's not worth repairing. But that was Smithy, That's where the bombs were. That's the area, and I'm not sure which island it is. It may be this island just down there. Hang on. These are the some of the bombs that we landed and we bombed in there. And we've been there before. As you can see, the ship sunk there, various other things. There's the ship, of course. Right, this is Smithy. Next door to him is Tom Scotland, who was our Pathfinder on 614. They were our Pathfinder crew. And there's Johnny Marquette and Gordon Lawson and a lot of other Commonwealth, mostly Commonwealth guys, South Africans and various others there. So that's a wild boy, Ron Smith. On the same operation, Sqn.Ldr.Saxby was flying this aircraft, and his mid-upper gunner, who was part Officer Lewis from Sydney, called him up and said, Skip, there's an aircraft above us. The bomb door was open. And we had 6 1,000-pounders, and it was our bomb load. And he said, can't move, I'm committed, I'm on the bombing run. The next thing, one bomb hit the aircraft, still tumbling, and took the turret almost completely off, went out through the side of the aircraft, tore a hole. We took the auxiliary APU with it, the auxiliary generator, and bored a hole you could put a mini miner through. And the next one took the number 2 engine and propeller reduction gear off, and they went on, bombed the target. And there she is going on to the continuum of the target. This is when they landed, and you can see there's the gunner, all he got was a bruised shoulder. There's the hole in the side, of course, where the APU was. And so it's quite staggering to think that no one got hurt, and they continued on and flew back. As a sort of wind up to this story, Debriefing was just saying he met this guy after 54 years. The same thing happened to me with Smithy. We used to have at the club at Ball Creek, we had Liberator Club meetings, and I was there one day with Dave Siebert and all the other guys, and suddenly I saw this fellow, and I walked up and tapped him on the shoulder, and he looked around and he said, "How are you, John?" And I said, "Not Smithy, you know." And I said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "I'm a West Australian." I said, "Where do you live?" He said, "Hammersley." He said, "You've got to come up." So he lived up there in Ashley Court, Hammersley. So we went up there and had a big reunion, but I hadn't seen him since 1945, you know, so. But he was a wild colonial boy, you know. So that's my story.
John, there was some damage on the wing there too.
Pardon?
There was some damage on one of the wings on your previous photo.
Yes. Hang on.
On the right-hand side, is that?
Yeah. I don't know, that must have been from before. Oh yeah, the wingtip.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know what's happened there. Crazy lot. Amazing really. The pieces even went forward and took the Astrodome off that. You wouldn't believe that, would you?
How would you see the storms?
So,
John, they look like British style bombs being dropped there. Would that be correct?
pardon?
They look like British bombs that were there.
Oh yeah, well that was a British squadron too, so.
Yeah, because when we got liberated Australia, they were going to keep them out of service for 6 months while they modified them to carry British Australian bombs.
Yes.
And I was involved in talking the hierarchy into adopting American bombs, which the Emperor.
And my window blown out. That was when we came back from Warsaw airlift. We got shut up pretty badly, and I had extra crew there. This guy here was a Polish underground fellow who, in case we got shot down, he could act as our interpreter and get us into the underground. But fortunately, we made it back okay. But you can see all our missions there. We did a lot of missions and mining and supply drops and so forth, and bombing. So I did about 36 ops on libs. I've done 32 on Wimpeys against Sicily on the old Wellingtons, and then before that I was flying Hurricanes against Rommel, tank busting. So finished up doing 108 ops. Survived it all.